Hi, I'm Connie Cheren, and I'm excited to be partnering with LeadingAge Florida on this video series of how to be the best of the best. Meaningfully engaged is really what I refer to as the absence of boredom. And boredom is something that we all fight against. So, in a long-term care facility, you don't want the residents to be bored. So many times we think of activities as an activity calendar. So the activity director works very hard to be able to put a nice calendar together, to have really good group activities for residents. And many times we think that just being engaged belongs to the director of activities, when actually being engaged is for everybody to be involved in the facility. And so what I always recommend for people, if you want to have people meaningfully engaged, and I've been actually over programs where we actually go into nursing homes, and if you want to know whether or not your residents are engaged, just take a yellow pad like this. Just draw a line down the center and just walk through the facility at two different times during the day, key times, and on one side put residents that are meaningfully engaged and residents that are not meaningfully engaged, and actually look to see what's happening. If you have a lot of residents in front of a TV and you want to know if they're meaningfully engaged, just turn off the TV. And if nobody says, "But I was watching that," then those residents are not really meaningfully engaged. You've just put them in front of a TV. So how do you keep people meaningfully engaged? How do you get more people on that side of the column and less residents on the other side of the column? And meaningfully engaged, we try to explain to people, I can have a resident sitting there looking out the window, and that resident's actually meaningfully engaged. They have something that they're doing. So it's what's happening with that resident, whether or not they're engaged in their environment. So how do you do that? What you want to do is to look at, for that particular resident, what was their day like before they came into the long-term care facility? When they got up in the morning until they went to bed at night, what did they do? What is the things that were important to them? So you want to find out, what was their day like? What did they do? Then what do they want to do now? Sometimes people say, I was very active when I was out in the community, but now I don't want to be as active. I want to change the way that my day looks. So what did they used to do? What do they want to do? And what are they capable of doing? And what is your part in helping them put that day together? So for each resident, you literally look at a sheet to say, this is the time the resident gets up. Now what is their day like? So filling in their meal time, filling in their therapy time, filling in their time that they're with family, and all the rest of the time, what are they going to do? Are they somebody that used to read the New York Times every day? Then how can you help them to be able to have the New York Times, because that's something that's important to them? There's certain soap operas that they used to watch that they don't want to miss, and that's part of their day. So the activity calendar is used as an opportunity to have some of the residents engage some of the time, but it will never meet where all the residents have an opportunity to be engaged in their environment. And so that's what I mean by residents that are meaningfully engaged. And it takes a different approach. It means everybody has to be involved in what are the residents going to be doing for that day. What is that individual resident going to do? Many benefits of keeping residents meaningfully engaged. You have less resident-to-resident altercation because people are engaged. Having residents engaged, you're going to have less falls. When you have boredom, residents are sitting there, they begin to try to do things that they're not supposed to do, like stand up. You have more falls, more resident-to-resident altercation. So keeping people meaningfully engaged has many benefits. Also, when you go into facilities, when people go into nursing homes and they say, I never want to go into a nursing home, I never want to grow old, I don't want to have that experience. But when you go in and people are engaged in their environment, when they're doing things, whether it's puzzles or whether it's individual word games, or I tell people, as we're aging now and we're all going to be there, we're going to have our iPads and our iPhones in different ways that we're engaged, but we're going to be engaged because it's important for all of us to be engaged and to continue to be engaged in our environment to the limits of our capacity, even as we age. So that's what I mean by it's much more than just an activity calendar. Well, again, it depends. Sometimes they may, again, what did that person used to do? Were they a night watchman and that's why they're not sleeping? The whole MDS process is all now individualized to figure out, what did these people used to do? And sometimes I'll go in facilities and they really don't know what the person used to do. It's not the integrated care where they really figure out, who is this person? These people are more than their disease. They're more than dementia residents. They all had a past. So who were they? Why are they up at night? So knowing those kinds of things that can really help. And again, is it music that they like? You can engage residents by putting on, headsets and music so that they're listening. I've seen iPads now in facilities that can work really well with dementia residents, and because of the visual, and it's very easy for them to touch. And so iPads are beginning to work. Headsets with music so that people can listen to music. So there's many different ways that you can keep residents meaningfully engaged, even in the nighttime.